On today's episode of How It's Automated. Supercomputers. The supercomputer is a late-game component used to construct programmable splitters, geothermal generators and nuclear power plants. The supercomputer is like a normal computer, but with a little more super in it. They're used in every factory setting to assist in calculations for a better, more efficient factory, but can't help if your lizard doggo gets stuck in a tree again. They are also great at heating coffee for those extra tough factories. So, let's see how it's automated. To manufacture supercomputers, 4 items are needed. So let's start simple with some liquid dinosaur. To begin production of plastic, oil is needed. Here by the central lake is 3 nodes ripe for harvesting. 3 oil extractors are placed and begin pumping crude oil at an incredible rate. Just don't sneak up on the extractors as they spook easily. See that flame shooting out of the top? That is how you know you startled them. The oil is then piped to a train station to transport it to where it can be processed. This train also is a 2-for-1 deal as the wavy tracks also help aid in keeping the oil thoroughly mixed inside the tankers. Look at him go. The train arrives at the station on time, dropping off 2 cars of that juicy liquid dinosaur. From there, the oil is pumped upwards through fluid storage units that can supply extra backed up oil as it's needed. The oil leaves the storage tower and routed to 80 refineries to be refined into usable materials. It is quite a large platform needed to hold 80 refineries, but it's still not big enough to hold your mom. In this stage, the crude oil is brought up from below and injected into the machines. With the correct recipe set, the primary output is good old-fashioned plastic sheets. A byproduct known as heavy oil residue is created in this step, but as we all know, nothing is wasted, so let's see how it is used to help power this factory. In this stage, the heavy oil residue is piped into each refinery, then cooked on a high heat in an oxygen-deprived environment for 12 seconds to reduce it into a blackened charred product, known as petroleum coke. This product is highly flammable. 4 Mark V belts are needed to properly transport the petroleum coke away. Please remember to wash your hands. The 4 belts are wave-belted near the edge of the crater, to the next station. Here, the petroleum coke is used as a fuel source to power the rest of the factory. The coke is brought in via standard sine wave belts, but the most important thing needed is water as they cannot function without good old fix-it water. 20 water extractors are needed to properly supply the generators. The rigid copper pipes are routed up to the platform and distributed as needed. The plant's power is then sent to a step-up transformer station and sent out across the factory. From the original refineries, the plastic is then belted underground through a tunnel system. This tunnel system goes throughout the factory to allow for easier transportation without having to worry about elevation changes. But, before we see where the plastic is used, first we must process iron and copper. In this order, an iron node, then copper node is located. Luckily these two are close together. Only the best Mark III miners are used to extract this ore. Look at these perfectly placed belts. The belts then meet up and are transported across a small bridge. Here, the ore takes a nice spiral down because there weren't enough lifts available. The 2 ores can then begin their journey to the purification station. Just look at the craftsmanship of those wave belts. Here, refineries begin washing the ore to bring out its natural flavor. With a little electricity, the refineries then turn the copper ore and iron ore into ingots. For better transportation. These bars do not have a chocolatey core. They are then combined and belted to 3 drone stations to be transported to various factories for use in making supercomputers. Let's follow the iron to see where it goes. Here, the drone offloads the freshly minted ingots. They are so fresh, there isn't even a noticeable oxidation layer. The ingots are belted to a few constructor buildings to be cold rolled into poles, as is the normal, with a quick stamp. Who needs a lathe when you have constructors? The iron rods leave their station and are immediately routed to the next area to prevent rusting. The waves aren't just for looks, they also keep rust from forming. The rods enter the station awaiting their destiny. They are chopped up and shaped to create a screw bolt rivet thing. What comes out the other side of each constructor is a blue box filled with screws. There is no particular reason why it's blue, it's just the constructor's favorite color. The screws are meticulously combined and output to 2 drone stations for further distribution. But before we see how the screws are used, a quick word from today's sponsor, Fix-It Power Shards.
Snutty Mays here with another incredible offer. Picture this, a factory where every gear turns with precision and every machine hums with optimal efficiency. Welcome to the future of industrial prowess, thanks to the Power Shard. Power Shards are not just a fun-looking crystal, they are a transformation. Revolutionize your operations by optimizing power consumption and skyrocketing production rates. Witness a significant drop in build costs while your factory achieves unparalleled productivity. But the magic doesn't stop there. Power Shards are the chameleon of efficiency, seamlessly integrating with a myriad of machinery across diverse industries. Whether you're in manufacturing, processing, or production, Power Shards is the universal key to unlocking your factory's full potential. Worried about downtime? Fear not! The Power Shard's state-of-the-art monitoring system anticipates issues in real time, ensuring your operations run smoother than ever by boosting power production when you need it. Join the League of Industry Pioneers who have already embraced the Power Shard's advantage. This isn't just an upgrade, it's a leap into the future of automation. Power Shard, empowering industries, igniting efficiency. Because progress waits for no one. Don't just keep up with the times, lead the way! Your factory's evolution starts now.
Once again, thank you Fixit Power Shards for sponsoring today's video. Next up is copper ingots. Here you see a wild drone bringing in copper ingots. The drone must be quick, otherwise the high oxygen levels of massage 2 would quickly tarnish the ingots. The copper ingots come into the constructor section ready for an honest day's work. The ingots enter the constructors and are transformed into spools of wire. Of course, there are impurities in the copper, and those impurities are used to construct the wooden spool. Another marvelous, closely guarded Fixit secret. As the old adage goes, a little copper goes a long way, so in this step 480 copper ingots turn into 960 wire spools. One more step is needed to process the wire spools, so yet another constructor station is needed to process them. Here, the wire is stretched out further, shrinking its size. Then it is coated in an insulating layer to not only protect it, but any other components it might be used in. It also keeps pioneers from being electrocuted. This isn't the end of the copper line, as one more item is made from the ingots. Here you see another drone bringing in more copper ingots. Yes, they are twins. 26 refinery buildings are needed to use up what is left of the ingots. These refineries are different because inside each of them, the ingots are continuously rolled out until what is left is a long thin sheet of copper. Water is used to keep the sheets cool, as this step generates a lot of heat, but they still come out steaming. One water extractor is needed at each end of the station to provide the right amount of mineral-rich water. The sheets are then sun-tanned for that extra rich visual. The wave belts give it plenty of time to absorb all those photons. The belt is long enough to allow the proper cooling time. By the end, another drone station takes it to the next step. Here, the now quite cool steamed copper sheets are offloaded with a clank. They also meet up with some of that long-lost plastic that was belted underground. Yes, it finally has a use, and I bet you forgot about it. The two items are then belted under the platform and up into assemblers. Here, the parts are very precisely assembled with high voltage to ensure proper adhesion. What comes out the other side is a perfectly formed circuit board. This is also how your graphics card is made. The circuit boards must maintain the proper humidity, and the red forest provides the perfect amount. With the circuit boards complete, this finishes what is needed for one of the major component requirements. The circuit boards are dropped off ever so gently and inspected immediately. Once they pass quality control, they are routed up alongside some of the cable that was made earlier. Once on the first floor, the cables and circuit boards meet up with more of the plastic from the secret tunnel, and the crowd favorite, screws. In this small building, 8 manufacturer buildings combine the 4 items very precisely. Again, the humidity is key for this step. The items zigzag their way up each floor to be fed in at particular intervals. The manufacturer buildings are quite the wonder to see. Once the computers are finished and all components dry, they exit the machine and must cool down. That extra coating of paint really gives it flavor. The humidity is also perfect for these Class 3 electronics. And now we come to the final 2 items needed to finish making supercomputers, and luckily, they both use Caterium, so let's jump over to that part of the factory. Now that the drill bots have finished assessing the purity of the Caterium, a large miner is built on site. Fixit would like to take this moment to remind pioneers that these machines will take fingers or toes. Once the machine is activated, that beautiful, not gold mineral is belted away. 2 belts of Caterium leave the area destined for the processing station. You can see the belts here. And some here. And look at this turn. How about here? Hello sulfur nodes, maybe next episode? Through the fog, the belts lead up to the refinery station. It is important to keep the Caterium ore near the water to keep the dust down because no one wants to breathe that in. The Caterium ore enters the refinery station totaling 35 refineries. Over 800 water per minute used to purify the Caterium, but these pioneers thought it best to use 1200 water to give it an extra squeaky clean wash and a spot-free shine, although it still leaves spotty residue every time. The Caterium ingots exit the refinery buildings looking like fresh bars of homemade butter, so much so, I still can't believe it's not butter. Here you see the ingots exit the facility and are sine wave belted to yet another drone station.
This is your captain speaking. We have been cleared for takeoff. Folks, we will be arriving early today because we found a shortcut. So please remain seated until the plane is parked at the gate. At no time in history has a passenger ever beaten the plane to the gate, so please don't even try.
Once the Caterium ingots are dropped off, they are routed into yet another small constructor plant. Here the not gold is similarly stretched out into long strands known as quickwire. Despite being named quickwire, it is only named that because the wire has near zero resistance at room temperature, making it the best possible wire to use for high-end electronics. Here the quickwire has 2 uses. In this instance, a series of assembler buildings use the quickwire and leftover copper sheets to create good old AI limiters. A necessity when an AI needs limited. The AI limiters are then routed to a train station where it is transported away. We will catch up with that train in just a few steps. For the rest of the quickwire, 3 belts are needed to transport it to the next station. Here, the quickwire, circuit boards, and cable all meet up for their high school reunion. There are also new Fix-It technology tests experimenting with interdimensional belting techniques. These 8 manufacturers are experts in their field, producing one of the most advanced electronics Fix-It is capable of. Inside, the 3 items are all mashed together and superheated to create high-speed connectors. As the high-speed connectors leave the manufacturers, they must have proper time to cool while maintaining the perfect humidity. Thanks again, Red Forest. Upon leaving the station, they are routed to the ground and belted away. Eventually, the high-speed connectors meet up with the computers and are belted together, because they are best friends. The 2 items make their way over the terrain and trees. Here they pass over a ravine which marks the halfway point. From there, they continue to the final manufacturing plant. Here the 4 items are all brought together for an epic union. Plastic, high-speed connectors, computers, and AI limiters all come together in this final manufacturing plant. 6 manufacturers are needed to produce 10 supercomputers per minute. Unlike the other manufacturers, this one lies just outside the Red Forest because they need a slightly lower humidity for assembly. Just look at them go. It's a thing of beauty. The building also protects from cosmic rays. The supercomputers exit the manufacturers ready to tackle even the most intense calculations. They don't even need time for the paint to dry. Once they leave the building, they are belted to the storage area to be counted and categorized by region for distribution. Coming to a Fix-It awesome shop near you. And that is how supercomputers are automated. Supercomputers are a mid to late game item that requires a lot of components, but are certainly not a bite-sized factory. Thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to use a portable miner on that like button. Feel free to suggest future items in the comments below as well. If you would like to see these factories made, you can check it out on Twitch as I stream the process. Thanks again.